Hello and welcome back to my channel Dinar Dong updates Iraq's bold break. From the US dollar, a new chapter in global finance. In the ever-evolving landscape of global economics, few stories are generating as much buzz as Iraq's dramatic pivot away from the US dollar. This isn't just a regional shakeup. It could signal a major turning point in how international trade operates and how nations assert their economic independence. With a new 35-page white paper released by the Iraqi Business and Banking Council, IBBC, the world is getting a close look at how Iraq plans to untangle itself from decades of dollar dependence and chart a new path forward using its own currency, the Iraqi dinar. In this deep dive, we'll unpack the key takeaways from the IBBC report, explore what de-dollarization really means, and analyze the broader implications for Iraq, its people, and potentially the entire global financial order. What is de-dollarization? Let's start with the basics. De-dollarization is the term used to describe the process by which a country reduces or eliminates its reliance on the US dollar in favor of its own national currency or alternative forms of exchange. For decades, the US dollar has held a dominant position in global trade, finance, and as a reserve currency for central banks. But in recent years, a growing number of countries have expressed a desire to loosen the dollar's grip on their economies. Iraq is the latest, and perhaps one of the most significant examples of this shift. The IBBC white paper lays out a clear roadmap for how Iraq plans to elevate the dinar as its primary currency in international transactions, a move that reflects deeper ambitions for economic sovereignty, stability, and independence. Why Iraq is making this move? Now, the motivation behind Iraq's strategy isn't just about pride or politics, it's about protecting its economy from external shocks and volatility. Historically, Iraq's financial system has been deeply entwined with the dollar. The Central Bank of Iraq has used the dollar as a primary anchor for monetary policy and foreign trade, especially in the vital oil sector, which accounts for over 90% of the country's export revenues. But this reliance comes with drawbacks. When the dollar fluctuates, so does Iraq's economy. And since global oil prices are denominated in dollars, any changes in the value of the greenback can ripple through Iraq's financial system. This makes it difficult for local businesses to plan long-term, introduces uncertainty into everyday transactions, and keeps the country vulnerable to decisions made outside its borders. By moving toward a dinar-centric economy, Iraq is trying to insulate itself from these risks, promote local confidence, and take greater control over its financial future. Key points from the IBBC report. The IBBC's white paper is more than just a policy document. It's a comprehensive blueprint for economic transformation. Here are some of the key highlights. 1. Promotion of the Iraqi dinar in trade. Iraq is making a concerted push to use the dinar in trade agreements, particularly with neighboring countries and regional allies who are also looking to reduce dollar usage. 2. Development of a robust financial infrastructure. The report emphasizes the need to modernize banking systems, expand digital payment platforms, and strengthen regulatory frameworks to support a more independent monetary system. 3. Incentives for local businesses. By stabilizing the dinar and promoting its use in daily transactions, Iraq hopes to create a more predictable economic environment for domestic companies, reducing reliance on costly currency conversions. 4. Stronger monetary policy tools. With greater control over its currency, the Central Bank of Iraq will have more flexibility in setting interest rates, controlling inflation, and managing liquidity. 5. Enhanced investment climate. A stable and self-reliant economy is expected to attract more foreign direct investment, FDI, especially from countries that are not aligned with Western sanctions or dollar-based systems. What this means for Iraq's economy. The transition away from the dollar is not just symbolic, It carries real, tangible benefits if managed properly. Here's how it could impact Iraq's economic landscape. 1. Economic sovereignty. De-dollarization gives Iraq more autonomy over its monetary policy. This means fewer shocks from external events such as U.S. Federal Reserve rate hikes or global financial crises tied to dollar liquidity. 2. Currency stability. A stronger dinar, supported by sound fiscal and monetary policies, could help tame inflation, improve savings, and increase consumer and investor confidence. It may also help stabilize prices in the local market. Third, boost for domestic enterprises. Local businesses often struggle with the uncertainty of exchange rate fluctuations. By reducing reliance on foreign currency, companies can plan better, price more consistently, and manage operational costs more effectively. 4. Improved public confidence. One of the biggest hurdles to economic reform is public perception. If the government and central bank can demonstrate that the dinar is a trustworthy and stable currency, people are more likely to use and save in it, further strengthening its role. What could go wrong? Of course, this is no easy journey. Iraq faces several obstacles that could derail or slow its transition away from the dollar. 1. Political instability. Without a stable political environment, investor confidence will remain fragile. Any signs of corruption, mismanagement, or conflict could weaken the dinar and undo the progress made. 2. Dependence on oil. Iraq's economy is still heavily reliant on oil exports, which are denominated in dollars. Unless the country diversifies its economy, fluctuations in oil prices will continue to affect the dinar's strength. 3. Weak institutional capacity. Effective de-dollarization requires strong financial institutions, competent governance, and transparent policy-making, all areas where Iraq has room for improvement. 4th, public trust issues. Winning the hearts and minds of the Iraqi public will be crucial. People need to believe in the dinar's value and the government's ability to protect it. This means consistent communication, visible progress, and a clear long-term plan. The global impact, a ripple effect? While Iraq's move is primarily focused on its own economic health, it could also have global implications. If Iraq's strategy proves successful, other countries may follow suit, especially those in the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Asia that have grown wary of dollar dominance and Western sanctions. We're already seeing hints of this trend. Nations like China, Russia, Iran, and Brazil have all explored alternative currency arrangements in trade deals. The creation of digital currencies by central banks CBDCs is also accelerating the shift away from dollar dependence. If more countries start transacting in their local currencies, it could reduce demand for the US dollar globally, potentially leading to a rebalancing of financial power. While the dollar will likely remain a major global currency, its unchallenged dominance could fade over time. What investors should know. If you're considering investing in the Iraqi dinar or want to monitor Iraq's economic journey, here are a few important things to keep in mind. 1. Follow the fundamentals. The value of the dinar will ultimately depend on Iraq's economic performance. Keep an eye on oil prices, GDP growth, inflation rates, and public debt. 2nd, watch government policy. Sound fiscal management is essential. Overspending or misallocation of resources could lead to inflation and undermine the currency's strength. 3. Assess political risk. Political chaos is a red flag for investors. Monitor developments in governance, elections, anti-corruption efforts, and regional tensions. 4th, track central bank moves. While interest rate changes and other monetary tools are important, they must be aligned with broader economic stability to have any meaningful impact. How this affects everyday Iraqis. For the average person living in Iraq, this policy shift could bring both challenges and opportunities. More stable prices. A strong dinar could reduce inflation and stabilize the cost of basic goods. Greater financial inclusion. A modernized banking system may encourage more people to open accounts, save, and participate in the formal economy. Better job prospects. Increased investment, both local and foreign, can create new employment opportunities. Reduced exchange hassles. With less need for currency conversion, daily transactions and international travel could become more convenient. But success isn't guaranteed. Iraq's leaders will need to manage the transition carefully, communicate openly with the public, and deliver real results that people can feel in their everyday lives. Conclusion. A moment of transformation. Iraq's move to shed its dependency on the US dollar is a bold and ambitious undertaking. It represents not just a financial strategy, but a larger push for national resilience and self-determination. The road ahead will be complex and full of challenges, but if Iraq can pull it off, the rewards could be profound, not just for the country itself, but for the global financial system as a whole. The Iraqi Business and Banking Council's report lays the groundwork for what could become a defining moment in modern economic history. And whether you're an investor, a policymaker, or simply someone interested in the future of money, Iraq's story is one worth watching closely.